Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the car, welcome back to Cornwall, welcome back to spring, and welcome back to tourist season. Yeah, tourist season has started, which means from April, Easter holidays, from the Easter holidays in the United Kingdom all the way to the end of September, the county is going to be visited by 4 million people, 4 times the population of Denmark. But wait, there's more. Yeah, I don't actually know the time frame for that, whether it's 4 million all at once or 4 million over a given period, say August. But what is it like living in a tourist area? Well, we use the back roads for a reason, old chum, old bean, because the front roads are all ramo, they're all chock-a-block, you can't go anywhere. If you like sitting in your car, just admiring the furniture, then, well, it's a good time. If you want to go somewhere, it is a bad time. For example, it takes about a quarter of an hour during the winter to get home from work. During the summer, it can take something like an hour and a half. But does that mean all tourists are bad? No. No, it does not. Like, as a group of people, it's a pain in the ass because everyone blocks the roads and eats all the food out of the supermarkets and just generally gets in the way and leaves trash everywhere. But as individuals, it's just people. Just families looking to have a good time. Yeah, I mean, lots of pleasant people and lots of happy people. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts living in a tourist area. The interesting thing is that I went to visit some family yesterday, and one of the things is, well, we went out for a walk. We went out for a walk at Overdrive, which is where the lighthouse is. And I was like, oh, I better take the car to get there on time to meet everyone. So I did. But the road in is a single track road, like single track with passing places. Oh, okay, I'm going to be very careful here. So single track, passing places, let's go. And thanks. And there were some vans and some cars coming the other way. And it was quite interesting because one of the lead van in the convoy, obviously tourists, he had a mobile phone up. I think he was recording like a video or something. And he wound down the window and yelled, "May God smile upon your soul." And I was like, I just stopped to let you by. I mean, thank you, I guess. It was interesting. You do actually have some interesting interactions with the tourists because it's a lot of people who come down and they have different accents and they come from different places and they have different stories to tell. And if you spend time, you can actually learn things from people. And I do like learning things from people. I am the boy that absorbs knowledge. You tell me something and I'm likely to go and look it up. Steve Courtwright was telling me about his wife's heritage, Scottish heritage, and how she came from, or how her ancestors come from a clan who was mostly left-handed. So they built the spiral staircases in their castles the wrong way. And I was like, that's fascinating. I'm gonna look that up. They were supposed to resurface that. They did, but it's not friendly for my bum. Yeah, and that was a comment on a video that Steve left, and I was like, you bet your ass I'm gonna look it up. That sounds amazing. So yeah, absorbing knowledge and things. But there is a switch. There is a little switcheroo that we can do. You see, while most of the time tourists come to me, come to my county and kind of sit around and go, "Ooh, getting sunburn here." It's like, yeah, well, maybe you should wear a hat, old chum. My sister did send me an avalanche of texts the other week saying, "Oh, we're planning to go to Europe for a few days. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Yep, sign me up." just sign me up. So I might be going to Europe for a city break for a few days. And immediately I'm thinking, I've got to take some vlogging kit, because when I went to Sweden, When I went to Sweden, I deliberately didn't take a video camera. I took my stills camera, I took my Pentax K5, which is a crop sensor DSLR, and it was a fun old time. And I took a lot of photographs. I took a lot of photographs that I'm very proud of. Which way do we normally go? We've been that way quite a few times. Let's go this way. Yes, let's do this one. So I took my DSLR, the baby DSLR, the little K5. Ooh, crow. There's a crow just casually flying in front of the car. I don't want to run him over. Yeah, and I took some really nice pictures. It does have the ability to do video as well, but what I would probably end up doing is taking something like the Hero 3 there, because I can put a backpack on it with an adapter, and I can have a screen that faces forward. But it got me thinking. I was just like, well, maybe I should invest in new kit for actual like vlogging, like walking around, walking and talking and doing stuff like that. Unfortunately, new vlogging kit would cost a lot of money. And I'm like, well, maybe I should just use what I have. I do have lav mic, I have the Zoom H1, I have the Hero 3. I was looking at new GoPros, like the Hero 11 is out now, and that has things like image stabilization. So you don't need to use a gimbal, or you don't need to use a Ronin in order to stabilize the footage. You can just hold the GoPro or put it on a selfie stick and then just talk at it earnestly like you have something to say. Wait, what? And I was like, okay, yeah, but if I were even to get one second hand, you're looking at something like $300. But interestingly, so I've mentioned this on the channel before. The influence for doing this style of vlog came from Graham Stark in Canada, part of Loading Ready Run. And he has his own channel called Graham Stark. And he was doing the G vlogs, which is just him vlogging either about his channel, like we're doing now, or when they go to events, he does vlogs, like travel vlogs. And he stopped for a while because he had he was going through chemo for, I think, Hodgkin's lymphoma. He's better now, or he's getting better. And he started vlogging again, so he hasn't done it since the pandemic, I don't think. So it's a couple of years out, and like he's got some interesting kit. And I'm like, I should probably get some of that. Look it up. Ooh, it's expensive, very expensive. And I'm just like, oh. I think that's the difference between a channel like this, who has to stop to take this junction, which is blind to my right. Left is clear, right is mostly clear. Okay, cool. Yeah, so a channel like this is a hobbyist channel. It makes a little bit of money. It makes a little bit of money because some of you do donate. Some of you do donate via the Coffee link. And, oh yeah, anyone who does donate and you have a recurring subscription, always check that periodically to make sure A, you've remembered about it, and B, you can still afford it, because I don't want to take money off anyone who is struggling to buy food or pay the rent or anything like that. You put you first, 100% put you first, and if you want to support the channel after that, then you have my thanks, because at the moment that's all been going on things like electricity. The cost of electricity went through the roof in the past 6 months, and it is insane how much power costs at the moment, even though wholesale prices of fuel have gone down. Weird, huh? So one of the things that Graham back on the G vlog was talking about was the fact that he has a new lav mic. So the little mic that I'm using right now, here attached to my t-shirt, is a lavalier mic. It is a tiny little mic on a clip with a cable that runs to a Zoom H3 Zoom H1 handy recorder. Zoom H1. and that captures all the audio, because if I were to rely on the cameras alone, they would pick up all of the noise inside the cabin, but they wouldn't necessarily give you guys a good auditory experience. You would be struggling to hear anything that I was saying. It's a good system, but I have a big cable that I have to run under my t-shirt, and the mic itself isn't bad at all. And then I have the Zoom H1. It's fine. It's a good bit of kit. But he just bought himself a new lav mic, and that is a really interesting thing. It's a DJI lav mic. It uses a little magnet, so you put it under your clothes and you pop a magnet on it to hold it in place. And then you can either stream the audio directly to your camera or your phone if you want to do that, or you can record it separately. I think, are clear. Yeah, we are. Good, yeah. These back roads are empty. I'm wondering if most people are going home right now after the long bank holiday weekend. It is also super windy today, so I don't think anyone's going to be on the beach. We're talking about 50 mile an hour winds plus, so that's an interesting thing. Also, these cars with the boxes on the roof, that's how you can tell that it's a tourist. It's a corpse carrier. It's just a box on the roof. Anyway, yeah, I'm getting distracted. So yeah, he was using a DJI lav mic, and it's very different to the one that I'm using. So it comes in a little box, kind of like AirPods, or I guess like any sort of wireless earbud, and it charges up in its little box, and then when you need it, you just get it out, you attach it to your clothes, you do a bit of recording, and I don't know if that's going to be any easier than clipping on a lav mic and then having it under your clothes and just leaving it on all day. They're not uncomfortable, but you do have to have like a little mirror. So what I use is the rear view mirror on the car in order to see if the lav mic is in the right place and not like rubbing on the seatbelt or clothes, or like it's touching my skin too much or anything like that. So you've got to be careful of that, because otherwise you get like popping and crackling. The downside to this particular mic is it's not good outdoors. So if we were outdoors, you'd get a lot of wind noise just blowing across the top. And I can put a dead cat on it, which is those very furry tops you see on microphones. They're called dead cats. They're not dead cats, but they are there to cut a lot of the wind noise. So the fur lays against the side where the wind is blowing and stops sound getting in, and streams away from the side where wind is not blowing and allows sound to propagate. The thing is that the DJI kit, I looked it up, that's north of $300, and I'm just like, ooh, no. A new camera plus a new radio lav mic would be like $600, $700, $800, and I'm just like, nah. Use what you got, old chum. Use what you got, and you'll like it. Well, I mean, the thing about the Hero 3 is it's not bad. It doesn't have image stabilizing, so it sort of shakes and rocks around a bit. The little GoPro, the front-mounted GoPro that we're currently using. The image quality, though, is interesting. The image quality difference between the Hero 10 and 11 versus the Hero 3 at 1080p don't seem to be that different. After like 8 or 9 years, they don't seem to be hugely different, so you wouldn't be getting a massive jump in video quality. The difference is that you could record at, say, 4K at 30 frames quite happily, and then, hello, Jesus? Nope, no, we just strayed over the white line. So you could record at 4K happily, which means if you wanted to do a digital zoom, you could do it without losing image quality. But also, you could shrink that down to 1080 quite easily in Premiere or even Handbrake, and get a fairly high quality image, like a higher quality image out of a newer GoPro. So I'm just like, I have time to think about it, but then I'm also going to have to get plane tickets and deal with accommodation, and maybe even start learning the language of the country that we're going to, which I'm just going to say Europe for now. Just Europe. It's fine. I've been to Paris before. When we were kids, Dad was like, let's jump on the Eurostar. So we jumped on the Eurostar and ended up in Paris for a weekend and went to see the Tour d'Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower. It was hot, from what I remember, hotter than anything. They also had an interesting take on the subway train. Well, they had an L train in Paris, which is the elevated train, but the metro runs on tyres instead of steel wheels, so it's a lot quieter, it's a lot more je ne sais quoi, which was interesting. So yeah, tourists are down in Cornwall, and I'm potentially going to be one at some point towards the end of the year, looking at new kit. I do enjoy watching other people's vlogs though, specifically like Graham's vlogs, because he is part of Loading Ready Run, and because I watch a lot of their videos anyway. It's just interesting to see, behind the scenes footage of them, like away from the video games and things. So that's always fun. I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful. If I drift in and out, it's because I'm having to navigate a particularly difficult part of the road. There's, I think, that black bag that was in the middle of the road we went over is a dog poo bag. Way to bring down the class of the vlog. Yeah, people tend to hang them off their rear view the rear wiper, rear view mirrors. The rear wiper, and then they just kind of fall off au naturel. I've never understood it. It's like it's a weird dog owner thing, and I've never understood why they hang them off bits of their car. If it was me, I just wouldn't have a dog, and if I had to have a dog, I would just carry a small flamethrower with me to get rid of the poo. Makes sense, huh? Let's do this. Oh, that's a nice house. That's just a little old granite house, just tucked in the back there. So yeah, I do enjoy watching other people's vlogs. It's nice to see other people away from video games or whatever they normally do on their channel and out in the real world. This is nice for me because it's nice and safe, but if I had to do it out on the street, I don't mind it so much. I don't mind it as much as I did when I first tried vlogging, and I've been out walking with a camera before, holding it in front of me and going, hello, I'm out doing vlogging stuff. People will look at you. If you happen to be walking around, especially in a city or just on the streets, people will absolutely look at you because you are talking to yourself, you are there with a camera and maybe a microphone, and you are performing a little bit of entertainment. That is exactly what happened. Oh, there was the ALS challenge some years ago, where everyone was the bucket challenge, where everyone was dumping buckets of water over each other's heads. James and I did that. We went to the beach nearby. We went to Hale Beach, in fact, and we took a bucket with us, and then dumped a bucket over our heads, and then ran into the ocean. What you didn't see was there was quite a few people just stopped and started watching. I mean, whatever. If you are vlogging and you are conscious of yourself and you're conscious of people looking at you, the way to get around it is just to either not care or just to imagine the final result, because that is what you're going for. The moment where you hit record and you start talking away, that is just part of the mechanics of doing it. But you are going to be taking all that, you're going to be editing it. You can cut things out, you can re-record bits later, or you can just ignore whole sections of anything that you have recorded previously. I'm going to pull in a little bit here, see if these guys can get past. I don't think they can. Oh, all right. I tell you what. Let's just remove ourselves as part of the problem. The curb comes out quite a way there, so let us not. Oh, they're honking because they know the lady. Nice. All right, and we'll move in, and the context clue is the car ahead stopped, so we have to pull in. Oh, because of the bus. All right, cool. Get a butt around. Hopefully we're over far enough. So, traffic jam in Cornwall. This isn't one of the bad ones, to be honest. This is just elevated summer traffic. Hopefully we can avoid most of it, so that's nice. Yeah, I've actually recorded vlogs in the car, entire vlogs, and I've just deleted them because I've been like, oh, talking about something that's going on, and then something happened outside the car, and I was like, well, I kind of have to stop and now focus on something that's happening outside the car. Either we got stuck in traffic because it's not that interesting just talking away and suddenly the world has stopped outside the car. Sometimes I just lose my train of thought completely because, again, the priority has to be on driving rather than talking to you guys, because otherwise this might be a very short experience ending with a lot of airbags. And while I'm quite happy that this car has a lot of safety features, I don't want to deploy this airbag from the steering wheel, from the A-pillar, from the curtain, from this car turns into a bouncy castle when struck. Did we go through Marizine or not? I don't know if, I'm gonna say let us do it. I don't think we got enough to talk about, but let's not upset the guys on the push bikes. They've come for a nice cycling holiday. It's too windy for a cycling holiday. Like 50-mile-an-hour wind, you'll be blown uphill the wrong way. Oh, and traffic lights, wonderful. I wonder if they'll be no, they won't be our friend. Good. Yeah, I've deleted quite a few vlogs. I think 5, 6, 7 vlogs so far, where I've been out, recorded something, and it's just been like, it's either not interesting, or we got stuck, or something technical happened, and I'm just like, yeah, you guys don't want that. And that's something you can always do. If you are recording a vlog yourself, you can just be like, nah, I'll remember what I said and come back to it. The only thing that I would recommend is that if you're desperate to capture a moment, maybe not put your face in it. Maybe if there is something that is going to happen that you can only capture once, capture it as B-roll. Wait, what is B-roll? Oh, so you have A-roll and B-roll. A-roll is you and me staring at each other right now, using the 1X camera. So the Insta1X, which is the 360-degree camera, that is my A-roll, and that is the important camera. Every half an hour, I do know that it will get cut off because the camera will stop recording, save the file, and then carry on recording. Why? Because it's a pain in my ass, that's why. Which is why occasionally we'll switch to the other camera, which is the Hero 3. And the Hero 3 just sits pointing forward, recording B-roll. B-roll is something I can switch to if something happens to my A-roll, like the camera cycling. Okay. Right. So it gives me options. Having either 2 cameras or 2 sets of footage gives me options. So when we were recording Dungeons and Dragons, for example, the A-roll was the footage from the top of my monitor. So that was recorded on a Canon Legria, and it was facing me. If, however, I needed to cut away, a thing that I could do, oh, that's the wrong button. I'm like, wait, I'll flash. Nope, I'm not in an American car. What did I do? I squared the squares. He doesn't know. He's got sunglasses. He's probably can't see anyway. So yeah, the A-roll would have been the Legria. That was the camcorder on top of my computer, and that was shooting me in the face. And the B-roll would have been the the Hero 3 again, and that was off to one side, and it was off to one side because it was recording like a wide shot. So if I needed to sneeze or cough or anything, then we could switch to the other camera and then literally just cut that section of footage out and get rid of it. Or if something just wasn't happening, if we were going through rule books, just like flicking through pages and it wasn't that interesting, again, switch cameras, but doing the switch, you cut out the boring bit of footage. Ah, all right. And with having two cameras here, if something happens, well, actually no, having the B-roll, so if you are vlogging and you are on the pavement and you are just doing stuff, just recording stuff going on around you is kind of interesting. One of the things that Graham does when he's doing his vlog is there's like a meme shot that everyone else that he works with has picked up on, and that is when you're walking along, you just have a shot of your feet walking, and everyone now does that at Loading Ready Run. Everyone's like, they grab his camera and they'll point at their feet as they're walking along. But that's B-roll, and you can add that in. You can do voiceover as well. So after the fact, you can do voiceover on your vlog. You can say, oh, today we're going to be doing this, this, and this. You might not have known that at the time, so you don't need to get everything on the day. You don't need to record everything on the day. And if you do get a little camera shy, if you do get a little gun shy because you're a bit nervous about recording on the streets, or because you're a bit nervous about just getting the camera out in front of other people, then just video like a tourist, and then fix it in post. Good. Well, excellent. There's a lot of people here. A lot of people here. This is Marazion Bay. Now the question is it raining, or is that stuff that I squirted over my windshield like an idiot? No, I think that's rain. Oh yeah, that is rain. Oh no, rain. So it's windy and it's raining. I mean, it's been good most of the weekend, I'm gonna be honest. But that's what happens when you live next to the coast. Water happens and you get wet, and not necessarily in a good way. Usually in a cold, and oh, the kite surfers are out. A lot of kite surfers, a lot of windsurfers today. That looks miserable though. Like everyone walking along here, getting just blasted by the wind. I suppose if you live in a city and you come down to Cornwall and it is just a complete different environment, then I don't know. Maybe you put up with stuff like that. No, dude. You bet your ass I'm gonna let the motorbikes go. Partly because it's dangerous for the bikes to be in the middle of the road because everyone will try and squeeze past them, and partly because it's just, I used to ride a motorbike and I'm going to let those guys through. Good, excellent. I'm just looking down the road and seeing the cars pull out blindly. Good, right. So, yeah, I have been considering though moving again. Yeah, I'm still looking at jobs, still looking at maybe moving to the city. There's some people I want to talk to though, because, well, I really need some advice. And anxiety is a big old player in all of this. I think people don't really understand anxiety at its fullest. Anxiety is, at its worst, it feels like food poisoning. It's a physiological thing, and it's not a fun thing at all. But yeah, I'm at the point where I think I need to do something. So yeah, maybe becoming city folk and reverse touristing, coming down to Cornwall as a tourist in the future might be a thing. I have I've opened up, Jesus, what is that noise? Some industrial things happening there. I have opened up the job search for unusual jobs. There was a tea growing job in Truro, but I mean, didn't earn much more than minimum wage, and I'm just like, while I like tea and I drink vast amounts of it, fields of the stuff, I don't know if going and growing it is my speed. I've got to be a little careful around here. So yeah, it might be that in the future I go and, because Dad's desperate to get me to move to the city, like super desperate for me to move to the city, and I'm just like, I don't think I want to do that, old chum. Oh, we're back on the main road. Just give it the horses and then step out. Yep, we can do that. Good. So yeah, that's always the thing in the back of my mind, always occupying space in the back of my mind. Other things to do with the channel, well, I've recorded the last episode of The Quarry, so that's fun. We will go over to Little Hope at some point, although the trouble is, again, with the channel being like hobbyist, I have to buy all the games, old chum, and Little Hope is not, I mean, Little Hope I think is like $16, so it's not too bad. The other two games in the Supermassive franchise are about 50 from what I remember. Might be 30 and 50, because I think the Devil in Me has is still about $50. So let's have a little look. Oh geez, it's super windy today. Obviously you can't tell or see. A car just went behind me even though I'm reversing. What a I mean, Jesus dude, just wait. Alright. We got a single ping, please. One ping only. Good, excellent. So, what have we talked about? Vlogs, tourism, equipment, and games. Yeah, I'll still be doing Supermassive games. I like them. I might give myself a little break between The Quarry and Lil Hope, just because they're such a pain in the ass to record. I love doing it, I love playing them, but the editing and encoding and uploading and everything is just long. It is long. I have started playing Disco Elysium, but for myself. I would quite like to play that on the channel. I'm not entirely sure how Disco Elysium would be received on the channel, because it is very much a game where you delve into the mind of someone who has hit rock bottom and is finding new places to fall. It goes into the id, it goes into the human psyche and all the bits that can break. If you want notifications, dingle the bingle. If you don't want notifications, don't dingle the bingle. You can be subscribed and never get a notification. And I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.